Welcome back. We're going to start our read aloud for today. Remember, we're going to do read aloud every day from now on just because we want to get through our book. We have 31 chapters and we're right in the middle of it. Right in the middle. So, yeah, let's get going. We, remember, are reading A Long Pitch Home by Natalie Lorenzi, and we are on chapter 15. What are you going to be for Halloween? Jalal rummages through his drawer for clean socks. He doesn't find any. I sit on my bed, passing a baseball from one hand to the other. I have my cricket uniform, but I cannot wear that. Why not? Jalal asks, holding his hand out for the ball. I toss it to him, and he sends it back. We have to dress like a book character for the school Halloween parade and carry the book with us. I throw the ball back a little too hard, and Jalal had to lean in to catch. I remember doing that. It's crazy that you can't just wear whatever you want. He strides over to his bookshelf and runs his finger over the book spines. He shakes his head. I can't think of one story about a cricket-playing kid. I picture my bookshelf back home, and I'd wish I'd brought one of my cricket books. Jalal's phone beeps. He glances at it and grins. I've got an idea. 10 minutes later, we walk into the public library. I thought public libraries were for scholars and studying and grown-ups. Not this one. Big orange vegetables that Jalal calls pumpkins sit on a table surrounded by fake spiders, a web, and books with mostly orange or black covers. A banner hanging from the ceiling says, "Scare up a good book." A gray rock-looking piece of foam with a rounded top reads, R.I.P. Read in peace. That's cute. Jalal heads straight for a computer. He types and clicks. Cricket. There has to be something here. How about a book about Omar Khan? I offer. Jalal shakes his head. Nothing. He keeps typing. How can a library not have a book about the world's greatest cricket player? There's one! Jalal looks triumphant. 796.358. What? I ask. This way, he says, repeating the number underneath his breath. 796.358. I follow him past babies chewing on books and tables of grown-ups and kids reading and doing homework. Jalal glances at the signs at the end of each shelf until he stops, turns, and pulls a book from up high. This is the only one I could find. He hands me a book called Learn to Play Cricket with a photo of a cricket ball on the cover. Thank you, Jalal. I flip through the pages and smile. This is stuff I know, but it is perfect for the Halloween parade. So he's like saying, I already know all this stuff, but it's perfect because it's a book. And that's what he needs for the Halloween parade. No problem, little buddy. Jalal's phone beeps again, and his texting thumbs fly over the screen. When he looks up, a grin spreads across his face. I follow his gaze to where Olivia sits at a table with a stack of books. She waves us over. But before I take a step, Jalal puts his hand on my shoulder. Hey, Bilal, why don't you see if there are any other books you might like? I'll meet you back here in 5 minutes. I get it. I'm not a little kid anymore. I can tell Jalal likes Olivia, and I can also tell Auntie doesn't want Jalal to have a girlfriend. I heard them arguing one time when Auntie said Jalal is too young, and Jalal said he is not too young to have a girl for a friend. Being 17 sounds complicated. As promised, Jalal meets me back in the same spot 5 minutes later. We check out the cricket book, and Jalal gets me my own library card. I sit in the back, slip it into my pocket, and smile all the way to the car. I flip through the pages of Learn to Play Cricket. It will feel good to wear my uniform again, even if it's not for a match. I can't wait for Halloween. On Monday, everyone boards the bus clutching their Halloween costume bags. Most people are keeping their costumes a secret, but Akash tells me he's going as Harry Potter. I peek at the white cricket uniform in my trash bag. Maybe I should have dressed like Harry Potter too. I've read all the books in Urdu, and people would at least know who I am. During morning meeting, Mrs. Wu holds up her own bag on her lap, a huge black trash bag. Whatever's inside is long and has lumps. Okay, a few reminders about today. She smiles. I know it's Halloween, and you've all got candy on the brain. Everyone laughs, and it feels good to understand her joke. But before the parade this afternoon, we still need to focus on things like math, science, language arts, and social studies. Tristan shudders. Scary, he says, and Mrs. Wu laughs. Instead of our usual morning greeting, I want everyone to think of one clue about your costume or about the book it's related to. I'll begin. Mrs. Wu pulls her bag closer and props her elbows on top. My favorite book. Mrs. Wu pats the bag with a solid thump. Showed me that sometimes the things we run away from are the things we need the very most. I'm relieved to see that the other kids look as confused as I am. Okay, who would like to go next? I think of what I'll say about my book. I've never read, as the students give their clues. This is some book. Mine is a diary, maybe dorky, maybe wimpy. You'll find out in the parade. I think I know what that one is. The title of my book could be worn as a necklace. You won't find mine unless you follow the rules. These are good clues. Mine is super hard to guess. With each clue, some people look confused and others look thoughtful. I looked confused for each and every one. My turn is next, and I'm clueless. This means I do not have a clue about what clue to give. Bilal? Mrs. Wu smiles and nods at my bag. I swallow. My book. I begin and then stop. My book what? My book that I've never read is full of information I already know? I glance at Jordan, who's got a look on her face that says, well, what is it? Then I have an idea. My book is not about a bug. That's a good one. Mrs. Wu waits, like she's thinking that maybe I'll say more, but I don't. That's my clue. I'm no longer clueless. I think that's a great clue because he said that a lot of people, when they hear cricket, they always think of the bug instead of the game. So that was a good clue. I really liked that. I don't listen to the next clues because I know I won't know these books. I should ask Mr. Jacobs how I can hurry up and learn enough English to read the same books everyone else can. I do pay attention when it's Jordan's turn. She holds up a brown paper lunch bag, and I wonder what kind of costume could fit inside a bag so small. She looks down, running her fingers along the creased top of the bag. Then she looks up and says, yes, and that's it. Everyone looks confused except for Mrs. Wu, who says, I'm glad you're enjoying that one, Jordan. Jordan nods without looking up from her bag. The rest of the morning flies by. The best part of the day was when we open real pumpkins for math. We work in groups of 4, estimating the weight, the circumference, and the number of the pumpkins inside. I say our pumpkin must weigh about 500 grams, but no one in my group seems to know what that means. As it turns out, our pumpkin weighs 15 ounces, and I don't understand what that means. In different countries, they use different types of measurement than we do, like as their standard measurement. So he said grams because that's what they're used to using in Pakistan, I guess. But our default when we talk about certain things is using ounces. We use ounces with our canned food, like the soup cans and stuff. It'll tell you how many ounces are inside. So that's a pretty standard measurement for us for that type of stuff. But he's a little bit confused because he doesn't know exactly what that means. But Mrs. Wu says, I'll come in handy when we talk about the metric system. Coming in handy sounds like a nice thing to be. Finally, we change into our costumes and gather in a circle around our desks. Kids hold up their books, and people say things like, "Oh, Charlotte's Web!" and "Dork Diaries." "I knew it!" and "Amulet!" and "I love rules!" I don't know any of these books. Well, okay, except for Lucas's book about some superheroes that I've seen on TV before. Jose looks at my V-necked sweater vest. He points to the small crest and says, "What are you supposed to be? A kid at some private school?" Before I can answer, Mrs. Wu holds up her hand for quiet. Mrs. Wu has changed into a denim dress with tights and sneakers and a jacket. She's holding a violin case and a book with a cover that reads, "From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler." I don't even understand what the title means, so this book is probably too hard for me anyway. She explains she is dressed like the main character in the story, some girl named Claudia, who runs away from home and goes to live in a museum, all because her parents don't appreciate her. It sounds like maybe Claudia missed her parents even though they all lived in the same house in the same city in the same country. Jordan is dressed in normal clothes, jeans and a t-shirt with a picture of a yellow bow across the front. She spins a roll of taping mask around her wrist like a bracelet. For her turn, she says Mrs. Wu recommended this book. It's called Operation Yes by Sarah Lewis Holmes. And it's about a kid on a military base who are waiting for their parents to come back from being deployed. Jordan holds up her wrist to show the masking tape. Their teacher is Mrs. Luke, who tapes a space on the floor, and the kids have to improvise different situations. When they think of one thing, Mrs. Loop always says yes, and they have to keep adding on ideas. I guess that explains why Jordan's clue this morning was yes, but I still have no idea what Jordan's book is about. What does improvise mean? Why would a teacher put tape on the floor? My head hurts thinking of all these books that I can't read yet, and then it's my turn. I hold up Learn to Play Cricket. Everyone is silent as they peer the cover and then at my uniform. I clear my throat. My clue was that my book is not about a bug. Mrs. Wu nods. That was a good clue, Bilal. So what are you then? Tia asks. I point to my book's cover. This. Half of the class laughs, and I remember now that my book's cover does not have a picture of a player, just a ball. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Wu carries a warning. I swallow. In Pakistan, I play cricket. Mrs. Wu smiles. And that handsome uniform must be your team uniform. There are no snickers at this time, but I can tell Jordan wants to laugh by the way... I can tell that Jackson wants to laugh by the way he's gnawing on his lips. I wish Mrs. Wu hadn't said handsome. Yes, this is my team uniform, but in America, now I play baseball. Dylan raises his hand, but doesn't wait for Mrs. Wu to call on him. How do you play cricket? It has many rules, I say, because where would I even begin? I hold up my book. You can read to know the rules. I smile. Dylan shrugs, like he has already decided that he's not going to learn about cricket. Someone else says, "Man, those are some tall shin guards." No one laughs, but I see the nudges and grins and whispering lips. I look at my leg guards sticking up past my knees. Tall? Compared to what? We don't wear shin guards in baseball, so I don't know what other kind there are. I'm already outgrowing these pads from last year, so I'll need a bigger size this season, or I would have if I played in Pakistan. Maddie raises her hand. I've seen cricket. She holds up her book called Doctor Who, Character Encyclopedia. I saw it on Doctor Who this one time. A few kids nod like Maddie's statement now proves cricket is really a game and not something I made up. The rest of the kids say what their costumes are, but I'm not listening. I'm wishing I could change out of this uniform that everyone thinks is weird. The parade isn't much better. Everyone in the entire school sits outside on the grass. Classes take turns parading around in a circle so everyone can see their books and their costumes. When our class's turn comes, kids peer at my book, trying to figure out what I am. The only person who doesn't look at me like I'm an alien is Mr. Jacobs. He gives me a high five as I walk by. Cricket, huh? Nice, Bilal. But it's not nice. It's different. The worst part is there's no time to change before the buses arrive, so I have to ride home in my uniform. Why does it have to be all white and so bright? I don't know if people are still staring at me or not because I lean my head against the window and watch the houses stream by all the way to my stop. When I get off the bus, Jordan is waiting for me on the sidewalk. I like your costume. She follows into step beside me. Thank you. I glance over to see if she's making fun of me. She shrugs. It's unique. No one else had on a cricket uniform. I know, I sigh. Only me. That's what makes it cool. She is not making fun of me after all. I always thought Jordan hated being the only girl on our baseball team, but maybe she doesn't mind being different. Maybe different is just part of who she is. I still don't know what her costume is supposed to be, so I make a guess. Are you a present? Jordan looks at me funny. A present? I point to the roll of masking tape around her wrist. The tape is maybe for the wrapping paper and the bow on your t-shirt? She grins. The tape is something the characters use in the book. They act things out in this space that their teacher tapes on the floor. I nod. Jordan already said this in class, but I still do not understand. Jordan points to her shirt. People tie yellow ribbons around trees when they're waiting for a soldier they love to come home. We reach Jordan's house. Now I understand why the tree trunk in front of her yard is circled with a wide yellow ribbon. She shrugs her backpack off her shoulder. Maybe I'll see you around tonight, trick-or-treating. And with that, she heads inside. Once I get home, I hang up my cricket uniform in the back of my closet. Since the Phoenixes don't have real uniforms, Jalal digs through a basement box and finds a musty-smelling Cardinals uniform that he wore when he was 10. Trick-or-treating is not as fun as I thought it would be. Akash and Henry invited me to go with them, but when Ami and Auntie insisted they go with us, I told the guys to go on ahead. Yes, I'm getting a lot of free candy, but I am the only 5th grader who is stuck trick-or-treating with his little sister. Other kids from my grade race together from house to house, their parents trailing a few houses behind. Kids my age don't actually go with their parents. But Ami and Auntie don't seem to understand how trick-or-treating works for big kids. They come with us to every door, pushing the stroller with Humsa dressed like a pumpkin. Aww. They insist on taking pictures next to the decorations outside every house. I don't need to be in all the pictures, Ami. Hira tugs at my hand. Yes, you do. Auntie laughs. We'll send them to your father and to Dado, too. She'll want to see you all dressed up. I try not to roll my eyes as I stand behind Hira again. Humza decides he wants to walk, so we have to slow our step while he waddles down the sidewalk pushing his stroller. By now, I am wishing I had stayed home with Jalal and Uncle to hand out candy. Jordan's house is one of our last stops. This is really Coach Matt's house, so I expect him to answer. Instead, Jordan's mom opens the door. Trick or treat! Hira shrieks, holding out her bulging sack. Jordan's mom laughs and tucks her hair behind one ear. What a beautiful fairy! She drops candy into Hira's bag. I am a fairy princess, Hira clarifies. Jordan's mom nods knowingly. Of course you are. You look beautiful. Hira giggles a thank you and then turns back to me. Bilal, come get some candy! So much for pretending I am not with the fairy princess. Hira scurries down the front step, practically running me over as I approach the door. I hold out my bag, and Jordan's mom leans forward, peering at my baseball uniform. She smiles and stands up straight. You play for the Cardinals! Turning, she calls, Jordan, another one of your teammates is here. Come say hello. Jordan's face appears from around the door. She breaks into a grin when she sees me. Hey, Bilal. She steps out into the porch light. When she sees my costume, her smile fades. She stands with her hands on her hips. Where's your cricket uniform? I feel like an imposter wearing a Cardinals uniform, even if it is 7 years ago. I hold up my baseball glove like it explains everything. It belongs to Jalal. She peers at the trick-or-treating bag threaded through my bat. Yeah, like the cricket uniform. Yeah, but the cricket uniform is different. You're the only one who has one. Exactly. Why does she look so disappointed? Why does she even care what my costume is? Hira tugs at my shirt. Come on, Bilal. I step down off the porch. I'll see you tomorrow. Jordan nods. See you. And she shuts the door. I didn't do anything wrong. But why do I feel so guilty? And that is the end of that chapter. We will read some more tomorrow and find out what else happens with Bilal. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.